Thanks to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this update. They've got everything you need to stay smooth and clean and nice smelling. All good things. Get their starter set for just $5 at dollarshaveclub.com/theknow. Welcome to The Know. If you played The Last of Us, back in the day, you know that the game's main protagonist, Joel, had an NPC companion for most of the game. Her name was Ellie, and now she is back as the hero of the game's sequel, The Last of Us 2. Now it seems like Ellie's going to have an NPC companion of her own in the upcoming game. In an interview with BuzzFeed co-director Neil Druckmann said that Ellie will have a companion. Wouldn't say who it was though. He told BuzzFeed Ellie used to be an NPC, but she's the protagonist in this story, so the player is controlling Ellie. It's safe to say with the game that we made in the past that there will be some NPC with you in this story, even though we're not showing the NPC in this demo. Of course, the E3 trailer for the game showed Ellie making out with her presumably girlfriend, so that's maybe a possibility. Also, the segment where you play as Ellie in Last of Us was pretty awesome. Now, this year is just a little more than halfway done. Yes, we are in the back half of 2018, but one researcher says the Switch is gonna be the best-selling console of 2018, so take that, investors in your fallen confidence. While PlayStation 4 has been the best-selling console on the charts all year, researcher NPD said that the Switch will overtake it by the fourth quarter of 2018. Not in terms of raw sales, still gonna have a ways to go for that one, but in terms of maybe month-on-month sales. NPD analyst Matt Piscatella wrote, driven by the launches of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Nintendo Switch will be the best-selling console of the fourth quarter in unit sales, while also elevating the platform to be the best-selling console of the year. As for the best-selling games of the year, that's a little bit different. He predicts that the top 3 in order will be Red Dead Redemption 2, Black Ops 4, and Battlefield 5, none of which are coming out on the Switch, but they are also multi-platform games, so they got a bigger audience to draw from. Also, looks like the console market is doing very well these days. Piscatella said that total hardware sales across all console and portable platforms should exceed 17.5 million units in 2018, which would be the highest in the US market since 2012. It looks like no more loot boxes for Counter-Strike Global Offensive players in Belgium and the Netherlands. An update for the game that was released yesterday said that players in those countries will no longer be able to open loot boxes. Of course, this is because of recent rulings by regulators in those countries that loot boxes constitute gambling, and the Belgian Gaming Commission has even threatened to prosecute companies that don't change their practices to comply. So it looks like Valve didn't really want to run the risk of either getting fined or having to try to make the argument in court like they made in Australia, like, well, technically we're not selling there, so does it really count? And Australia was like, yeah, it counts. So maybe they don't want to deal with all that. This has been a pretty hot topic around the world lately, with various countries starting to weigh in. Recently, France's gambling regulatory body said in a report that microtransactions are not legally a form of gambling, although France did say they are undermining public policy goals for gambling, so shame on you. Reviews for the throwback RPG Octopath Traveler on the Switch are in, and they are pretty positive, which is good news if you've been wanting this this game that looks sort of old school but plays kind of new school. The game's currently sitting at an 85 on Metacritic and an 82 on OpenCritic, with viewers praising the looks of the HD 2D visuals and the gigantic plot that incorporates 8 different characters as protagonists. God is a Geek said the game feels like a gem from the golden age of JRPGs that is something I've been craving, with stunning visuals, music that deserves a vinyl release, and so much more. Polygon said, every element of Octopath Traveler comes together brilliantly to create a refreshing take on the genre. While it channels the spirit of old favorites, it never feels derivative. It genuinely does feel like a 16-bit RPG that's evolved into something new rather than being mere nostalgia bait, which is good. But the nostalgia bait did work on me. The game is releasing tomorrow for the Switch, so I'm sure we'll have a lot more opinions then. The best Fortnite players in the world could be making some big bucks soon. Epic Games has announced an 8-week tournament series called the Summer Skirmish that's going to feature a whopping $8 million in prize money. Invitations have already been sent, and Epic says that pro players and content creators will be chosen as the competitors. It's all going to kick off with a $250,000 duos event this weekend, and Epic says that the format and competitors may change from week to week. No word on who's participating, if golf is gonna be involved, because I guess that's a Fortnite thing now, but we'll keep an eye on it. Seems like everyone is trying to port their games over to the Switch these days, but the Yakuza series producer apparently not a fan, at least not for that series. In an interview with the French site Gameblog, Daisuke Sato was asked about the series coming to non-PlayStation consoles. He responded that Yakuza 1 and 2 HG for Wii U last generation was a huge failure. I'm gonna level with you. I think everything on Wii U last generation was a huge failure, but that doesn't mean that they can't be a success this time around. Look at Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Look at Mario Kart Deluxe 8, I guess it's not Deluxe, Mario Kart 8. Look at Captain Toad Treasure Tracker that's coming out tomorrow. Stuff that sucked on Wii U doesn't have to suck on the Switch. I'm just saying. But he did add they are always looking to develop for multiple platforms as much as possible, so maybe that window is still open. About the Switch in particular, he said, I'm convinced that it isn't the ideal platform on which to develop Yakuza games. Maybe people don't expect this kind of game on Switch, maybe they're used to different games. It may not be the ideal platform. Now, he did seem a little bit more open potentially to Xbox One, saying, we can consider it knowing that Xbox One users may be more likely to be interested in a game like Yakuza. The underwater survival adventure Subnautica is coming to PlayStation 4, so PS4 users rejoice. Subnautica, which released for PC earlier this year, has been on early access for a while, will come to PlayStation 4 during the holiday season later this year. PC version was pretty well liked by critics, scoring an 87 on Metacritic. Ryan talked about it on Glitch Please quite a bit. He really enjoyed it as well. Game Informer called it gorgeous and enthralling, offering rewarding progression and a fascinating world. It added, with fantastical sea beasts, fun gadgets to build, and a sci-fi story that gets its hooks into you, Subnautica is as deep as its sprawling ocean. The game has also been in development on Xbox One for a while now, and developer Unknown Worlds says it's bringing in some help to finish it up. The port specialist Panic Button Games, which is also helping to bring it to PlayStation 4. No word yet on a release window for Xbox One, but we'll keep you posted. It looks like a lot more people are going to be watching Overwatch matches very, very soon. The Overwatch League, which kicked off this year, just signed a multi-year broadcast deal with ESPN, Disney, and the ABC family of networks. The deal includes the Overwatch League playoffs, which began last night and are being shown on Disney XD and ESPN3. The deal also includes the Season 1 Grand Finals from the Barclays Center in New York this month and Overwatch League Season 2 next year. The matches will be broadcast in some form on ESPN, ESPN2, Disney XD, ABC, and streaming services. ESPN Vice President of Digital Media Programming, John Lasker, said, we've had an interest and have been watching pretty closely how the first year of the Overwatch League has been progressing, and we're really excited to be a part of this. Clearly, by the way we're going to be covering it starting with the playoffs and the finals, this year certainly speaks volumes to our excitement and our enthusiasm overall for esports moving forward. I can't wait to see the debate on whether esports are sports again. That was fun last time ESPN touched esports. Hey, bad news if you were expecting to play Codenames this year. Sorry, it looks like the action RPG from Bandai Namco is going to miss its September release date. The game has been delayed into 2019, according to a tweet from the company, which said the decision to delay the game was based on all the feedback we've received over the last few months, and it specifically mentioned E3 and Anime Expo in Los Angeles. Bandai Namco wrote, we want to refine the gameplay even more and further exceed your expectations upon full release. This will help ensure that the final product delivers on the expectations that you all have for the game. If you haven't played Rocket League yet, and if you haven't, I don't know where you've been, but hey, it's now available as part of Xbox Game Pass, so you can. Scott Rudy, the game's director, also said that as part of Game Pass, current players can purchase the game's DLC for a discounted price. Oh, and developer Psyonix said that the new cross-platform Friends and Parties feature is coming this summer. So that's going to let Xbox One, PC, and Switch players add each other as friends for some good old car soccer goodness. Sadly, though, the crossplay will not be available on PS4 unless you change your mind, Sony. I know Psyonix has talked about in the past how much they'd like that. Robocop Returns. That is the name of the sequel currently in development at MGM, with District 9 director Neil Blomkamp attached to direct. It looks like the team behind this film is following the lead of the upcoming Halloween film, in that it will be a direct sequel to the original film and ignore all the sequels. In fact, this movie is starting from a script by the original Robocop creators, Ed Neumeyer and Michael Miner, that they wrote back in the 80s after the success of the first movie. The studio scrapped their vision at the time and ended up going in a different direction with Robocop 2, but now that script will act as the basis for the new sequel with some additional work by Justin Rhodes, who wrote the upcoming Terminator sequel. The original film was filled with political satire, taking aim at stuff like corporate greed, Reaganomics. It's safe to bet the new script will have some stuff to say about the current political climate as well. That should be fun. Brian K. Vaughan's Why the Last Man is one of the best graphic novels ever made. I know the strong words, but it's really good, and over the years multiple adaptations have been attempted, but none ever made it. Until now. The comic focuses on a young man named Yorick and his pet monkey, who are the only two males to survive a plague which wipes out anything with a Y chromosome. FX is going to pilot with Vaughn producing alongside Logan's Michael Green and Luke Cage's Ida Mashaka, and they've announced a hell of a cast so far. Barry Keoghan will star as the title character. You'll remember him from Dunkirk, or if you're more art housey, he knocked your socks off in The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Indie darling Imogen Poots will play his sister Hero, and the great Diane Lane will play Senator Jennifer Brown. Cast looks pretty great. I'm kind of interested. Hope they knock the pilot out of the park so we get this to series. Fingers crossed. Alright, that is the news for this roundup. Let us know what you think of everything down in the comments. To make sure you get news from every corner of the internet every single weekday, like this video, and if you are new here, subscribe to the Now. Shout out to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this update. Dollar Shave Club has gone beyond razors. Now they've got everything from hair products to body cleanser to skincare. So they've got all that stuff that is to keep you smooth and clean, head to butt to toe. And I'm gonna be honest, it all smells pretty good too. Personal recommendation would be the Amber Lavender Soap. I recommend that every time because I really like lavender. I don't know, maybe I'm an old lady now. Who knows? But I think it smells really nice. Like everything else from Dollar Shave Club, they deliver right to you, so you don't need to wander around the store looking for an employee to unlock the razor case, because that's just incredibly annoying. And then if you're like me, you just sort of don't do it, and then you end up with old ass razors, which is kind of gross, and they've got rust on them, and then they probably are building their own ecosystem. Don't do that. Every product also is their own original stuff made with premium ingredients, so not only is it convenient, it's also really good stuff. You can get your first month of their best razor, that's the Executive Razor, along with travel-size versions of shave butter, body cleanser, and hey, even butt wipes for $5. After that, replacement razor cartridges ship for just a few bucks per month. Get your starter set for just $5 when you go to dollarshaveclub.com/theknow.